Okay, time is approximately 7:05 p.m. on October 24th, 2019. Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting will come to order. Okay, we'll first have a prayer by our guest, and then we'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag. And I'd like for the scouts to come down and lead that for us, please. Prayer will be first, okay?
We're going to say prayer first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would you pray with me? Father in heaven, we just thank you so much for the beautiful day that you gave us today. Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather together and to take care of the business of your people here in the city of Farragut. Father, I pray that you will give wisdom and understanding and leadership to everything that's said and done here. Father, we pray that all this will happen to bring glory to your name. And I pray these things in the name of my Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Hey, guys.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, next will be agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda as presented?
No, sir.
None? Okay. If not, with the quorum, I ask for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show that the motion to adopt tonight's agenda has been approved. Okay, next will be the mayor's report. The mayor has nothing to report, but we'll yield the floor to the vice mayor.
And I'll yield to Alderman Meyer.
Volleyball season has wrapped up here in East Tennessee for the high schools, and we want to give a shout out to the Farragut High School girls volleyball team. They won their regional tournament. Unfortunately, their bid for state got wiped out in the sub-state competitions, but they did win regions this year. Also want to give a shout out to the Lady Lions of Concord Christian School. This year, once again, they became the state champion runner-up. They made it all the way through district, region, sub-state, and made it through every day of the state championship, but lost today to some school called St. George in Collierville. So, and I'm looking at you, David, not happy, but very excited that a school of the size of Concord Christian can go as far as state once again and become the runner-up. So congratulations to both schools.
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you, Alderman Meyer. Approval of the minutes. Are there any changes to the posted October 10th, 2019 minutes?
No, sir.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to review these minutes?
I have.
Okay, if so, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show that the October 10th, 2019 minutes have been approved. Will be recorded as official minutes of the October 10th Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting. Next will be business items. We have 4 business items listed to review and consider tonight on tonight's agenda. First will be approval of a professional services agreement for construction oversight for Anchor Park improvements with Los Design.
This project includes the reconstruction and expanded restroom at Anchor Park, along with a new entrance plaza, the ADA access to the diamond and recreational fields, and new landscaping and signage. Los Design was the firm that prepared the design and the construction documents. Attached is the professional services agreement or scope of services for construction oversight of the project. These services were not included in the original design contract. With past park projects, construction oversight was handled in-house, generally by the engineering department. We have learned that there are many areas in a project like this that the town staff are not equipped to oversee. We don't have enough knowledge of specific items to be able to adequately approve submittals, and these items are better monitored by the design professionals that were involved in the project from the start. For example, a typical submittal may include 4 or more rejections until a specific item is approved for construction. And there are many submittals in this project. In addition, to the large number of projects that are currently under design or construction has stretched the staff to the point that we do not have adequate hours to review all the submittals. So we are asking for approval of this agreement that will be billed on an hourly basis that the town staff will closely monitor. This is agreement for services up to an amount of $25,000 based on work and hours submitted, and that includes $55,000 in project contingency dollars for change orders or unexpected changes that needed to be reviewed.
I'm going to move for approval of professional service agreement for construction oversight of Anchor Park up to $25,000 by Los Design.
I'll
Second.
second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. How far along are we in the project? Have we had delays or any issues?
They are actually moving really fast. This contract is not scheduled to be done until early to mid-March, and they would like to be done at the beginning of the year. I don't think that'll happen because of some rain stuff, but they are moving very quickly, and they're doing a great job.
Good to hear.
Okay.
How long do they think this project's going to take?
We'll see. I'd say it'd be January or February.
Okay.
So, depending on weather. I mean, a lot of it is grading, and they were lucky for a long time with no weather issues. But they're, like I said, they're moving really quickly. So, and doing, not wasting any time in it. So, we have every reason to believe they'll be done by their deadline, if not before. So.
Any other discussion? None. I have a motion with a second. All in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Okay. Professional service agreement, Los Design has been approved.
Thank you.
Next will be approval of Resolution R 2019-07, authorizing the town of Farragut to participate in the Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program. Wow. You write this, Trevor?
Thank you. Tonight I'll just present briefly on this resolution. It would, in essence, authorize the town to apply for and participate in Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Grant Program. This grant is provided each year, and if we spend $8,000 on security and property conservation materials and equipment and technology, we will then be able to receive the $4,000 grant, which is the maximum amount that we would be eligible for based on our class.
50/50?
No.
It's
8,000, 4,000. So.
Okay.
yeah, it's a matching grant.
Matching grant.
The key is that we've already budgeted well over that amount in our budget. We already planned on spending it, so this would simply allow us to
Save
recoup
some.
some of that cost.
Okay.
We're not proposing any new appropriations with this resolution.
How much, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to look this up in the budget. How much have we allocated for this? Do we know?
Well, in the application, I would be applying or using our security cameras and access control devices at the community center here at Town Hall, and that number alone was well above the $8,000
Okay.
amount.
I'd like to make a motion. Approval of Resolution R 2019-07.
Second.
Any more discussion? If not, I have a motion with a second. All in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Okay, none. Let the record show the approval of Resolution R 2019-07 has been approved. Next will be approval of Resolution R 2019-08, Farragut Community Center fees.
The attached fee schedule that you have is what we discussed at the workshop at the last meeting. We've had a few changes based on your discussion. Estimated the setup fee or eliminated the setup fee for the assembly hall and just added that to the basic rental fee. Used hard numbers instead of percentages for holiday rental fee upcharges. In doing this, the holiday fee for the camp and tournament rental was changed, lowered slightly just to keep it in line. And then we clarified that the alcohol fee for when the renter is selling alcohol would be a $100 fee for nonprofit or social functions and $500 fee for for-profit entities. Do you have any questions about any of that?
I'm sorry, I know that we're not going to be renting out the small classroom at first.
Right.
Do we need to take that off of this, or are
No.
you just going to not have it available?
Available, yeah. So
Okay.
we've had some changes with McPhee Park and the construction documents as we're moving very close to getting that before you or in the bidding process. We've realized that we will not have access to the Dimmick House where we store much of our supplies for events. As much as we do now during the construction. In fact, the actual road will be buried under probably 8 or more feet of dirt. So, and we'll be able to get there from time to time, I'm sure, but it won't be what we're doing now. So in the interim, we're going to take the small classroom, which is pretty small, and use that as our temporary storage. We would like to keep it on the fee schedule because as soon as we can open it up, we will.
Okay.
So when we get to the point of McPhee's construction that it's not a problem anymore, then we'll move everything back.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of community center rental fees.
Second.
Any more discussion?
The thing I'd add, Mayor, is I sent my thoughts with David when we had this discussion because I couldn't be here, but that this really remain community focused and that if we do see this overrun with rentals from outside or, people in the community can't just go in and play basketball, set up volleyball and play, I think that is a big intended purpose for this facility, in my opinion. And so just that we're agile and that if we see things going the opposite way, tons of groups renting it over and over again, that we'd make sure and kind of revisit both the fees and the times that we make available for rent.
Yeah.
Are we making accommodations for just community time? I mean,
Oh, yes,
not
yeah.
gym
There'll be
days?
drop-in gym and for
okay.
different activities, and there'll be classes and events, and that'll all start on February 3rd, we hope. We hope we're still cutting the ribbon on January 16th, but we're going to we'll have a couple weeks of trying to get some things in line. We will try to have the center open so that people can come and look at it, because we have a lot of people that are interested in renting or using rooms, but they want to see them natural. We understand that, but we can't get on the property until the construction is done. So, yes, I agree. I think it's going to be a real balancing act, and we discussed that we expect we'll come back to you probably in 6 months with some changes.
Yeah.
And we tried to keep the rentals limited. That's why the rules and regulations say only one per month or one per week for the classroom, or one, so many, so that it's still available. So.
I think I'm kind of like Drew. My concern is that we don't have a group that thinks this is their home court.
Right.
Yeah.
When it's not their home.
Yeah.
But you have limits, right? You have limits on the number of
Yes,
rentals
yeah,
for the
yeah,
organizations.
yeah.
I think that will take care of it.
So, yeah, for the gym, it's so many, for the classrooms, it's so many, and stuff like that. So for special events, it's much less, so. And right now, we have 3 special events in the first 4 weeks that we're open, that we are putting on. That's not a rental, because we haven't opened that. So you're going to see a lot of community use, so.
Good.
Good.
Fantastic.
Okay. Any more discussion? None. Have a motion with a second. All in favor, vote by saying yes.
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 Noes. Let the record show Resolution R 2019-08 has been approved.
Thank you.
Next will be approval of memorandum of understanding between Town of Farragut and Farragut Business Alliance.
This agenda item, we've been working with the FBA now since 2009 and 10 on providing various events and helping increase business for our businesses here in the town of Farragut. The MOU before you is one that we have been updated annually with the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, and we made one minor change to this agreement, and that is that these terms would still be 1 year, but may be renewed annually unless the agreement is terminated at any time for any reason by the board or the FBA. So we still have those caveats in there that you can terminate this at any time. The MOU outlines the economic development initiatives that the FBA will be responsible for providing to the town. Included in your packet is a program of work, a budget as well about how they're going to be spending their money this next year. And their current request is for the same as it has been for the last several years of $70,000 from the town to them. So that level of funding would stay the same in this contract. If you wanted to change that in the future, then certainly that would just be an amendment to the contract that we would bring back to the board at any time that we needed to. So with that, I'll be happy to try to answer any questions, but the recommendation is for approval of the MOU. And Steve Krimpaski, the FBA Executive Director, is here and could answer any questions from their perspective as well.
Let's have a motion.
To approve a memorandum of understanding between the town of Farragut and the Farragut Business Alliance as attached.
Now we open discussion.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. First of all, this is coming to us a little late. Usually we get this before the end of the fiscal year. This is in our budget already, correct?
It is in your budget starting July 1st, and they usually work at a quarter at a time, so we would not pay them anything until October 1st, usually of the year.
Okay, is there a reason why this is coming to us later?
It just took me a while to get to it, Alderman. I'll be apologetic for that.
All right, just curious. The other thing is progress reports. We talked about the different committees, and in this case, the FBA giving us a progress report. It says September. Before it was usually in July, I believe.
They give us 4 progress reports per year, and I get those, and I try to send those out to the board as I can. And that's what's in your packet. Here is the last progress report for last year, the whole year that Steve has done. So yes, we do get those, and we look at those to see just what the FBA has been up to.
For the ones that attend the FBA meetings, Steve pretty well goes over everything as we have a meeting, and that's something that is good for the ones that do attend, but for the ones that don't,
For those
this
of
right
us
here
that
works.
can't get there, yeah, right.
I will just add that on top of what the Music Fest, Taste of Farragut, Light the Park, and Dog Days, which Steve works very hard to get, obviously Taste of Farragut is all about the vendors, get the additional vendors into different, and allowing Farragut businesses more exposure. He has the treasure hunt, which is a back-to-school event that he holds annually and is driving people to specific businesses in the town of Farragut. And the town sampler is done monthly, and that is an opportunity where the businesses in town can provide coupons or different little things that he awards on a monthly basis, and he collects those emails. He's about to start an annual health expo in January with the opening of March, okay.
March?
Yeah.
Steve Krimpaski with the Farragut Business Alliance. The Health and Wellness Expo is really a creation of a market-driven event, tabletop showcase over at the new community center in the gymnasium. I'm hoping to get 30 to 32 vendors there. I have 21 already confirmed for March 28th, Saturday from about 10 a.m. to 3 in the afternoon. Free to the public, and it's a Shop Farragut event.
What was the times again?
It's right now 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
10 to 3, okay.
That way we can have time to set up and tear down.
Yeah.
And just to further discuss what it is where the ultimate goals are, is giving, we are in the process of switching over to the online services for the build-outs for permitting and getting inspections and all that. all of this is kind of being put together as a way to attract those small businesses, to demonstrate to them, new businesses that want to come into town, that there's a lot of support for them from the beginning of the process, looking at where the properties that they may consider leasing, and then understanding that they have an opportunity to have codes come in before they even sign the lease to say, okay, this is what I want to do. How do I achieve that? Is this going to be too costly? These are the things you have to be worrying about. And then once they're opening up their doors, that the Chamber of Commerce and that the Farragut Business Alliance has opportunities galore for you to be supported and getting your name out there. So it's all kind of part of that recruiting, attracting, and supporting businesses, particularly in my mind, small businesses in the town of Farragut. So these have evolved over the years, and of course, when Steve came on, he brought in music. Well, Music Fest used to be it used to be something. Now, the treasure hunt, the town samplers, the health expo, dog days, these are all new things that Steve has brought to our community and opportunities for our small businesses in particular to kind of have their marketing opportunities. So,
Well, we're just about ready for our biggest event, not money-wise, not any other, it's just involvement, and that's with the Shop Farragut for the Holidays program. Kicking off with Light the Park, Countdown to Light the Park. I have 31 vendors for that event. And about 50 of our local businesses will take advantage of the special temporary signage program during the Shop Farragut for the Holidays program. And the packets have been sent out, and I'm already receiving some back already. So.
Steve, have you ever thought about moving that Light the Park event to a Friday?
That's more of
I
our
work with
decision.
the Parks and Rec on that. That's
Sue. I'm just kidding. Stay back there, Sue.
We've
He's more like the Grinch, Sue.
oh, come on. We've always done it on Monday night, and it's more so of just trying to get it during the middle of the week. Friday nights, sometimes they're hard to get people there because they're off on weekend adventures to wherever they may go. So we could always try it on a different night. We've just traditionally done it on that Monday.
I'm afraid the park, we had 2,500 people there last year.
Hold it.
If
And
the-
that was
if
on a
the
Monday
weather's
night. What do you
nice,
I
think?
just always think family comes in for Thanksgiving, and I always want my out-of-town family to see that, but they're not there Monday, but they're always there Friday.
Well, December 1st is a Sunday, and we're having an event for Farragut High School Education Foundation.
Oh, that's
is
what we're looking
having
for.
An event.
Let's go.
It's a day-long event, and it's an opportunity for people to order trees beforehand and then go pick out their Christmas tree, but it's going to be, s'mores and a fire pit and games, and so
gave you that plug.
you'll have an event to go to for that weekend.
Well, this year we actually are doing the Light the Park on the Monday before Thanksgiving. So if you have family in for Thanksgiving, they'll be able to
great.
see the park lit.
Yes, well, that's true, yeah.
My family doesn't like me long enough to stay.
To your point, the downtown does their big tree lighting and everything on the Friday after Thanksgiving. And so, we try really hard to work with downtown. We've
makes
done that
sense.
with the parade and 4th of July because we didn't, we're good neighbors and it is tourism all the way around. So that's that. The next Friday night is the parade and we're having our Celebrate the Season, and we've hoped that Friday night, we hope that some people will come early and then go to the parade. So it's all balance of and everything else that's going on in town. So
I have a question about the memorandum of understanding. This is open to anyone. Have we calculated a return on investment on the $70,000 that the town contributes to the FBA?
A formal ROI, no, sir, we have not.
How would you all, anybody opine on what financial impact the town is receiving from the $70,000 investment?
I think you probably need to ask the small businesses that are getting the marketing opportunities. I mean, you think about dog days, and I don't know what it calculates to, but Jet's Pizza, is it Jet's Pizza that's in there?
Snappy.
No.
Snappy Tomato.
Snappy Tomato has the best pizza sales during that event. So he is bringing business to and that was the purpose of bringing these events to the shopping centers, the bigger shopping centers, is to get people into those parking lots and into those stores.
And so do we know, is that happening?
Yes, Fresh Market
Yes.
said it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rick's Pets, same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And even Steinmart, although some of their customers have complained about not enough parking places close to the store.
That's a good sign, though, guys.
The bottom line has seemed to have done them well. West End, you have to understand, the shopping centers also asked me to come back.
Yes.
So that's,
What's difficult for us is trying to get sales tax dollars from a specific
And
store.
I'm a dollar guy.
I know,
So I'm trying
I know
to
you
figure
are.
out what is the return, for if we're asking about return on investment for hotel tax
I can
and
say,
whatnot. I'm
I can say I'm
trying to
getting more
figure that out.
vendors. I have more participation is growing in all the events.
Yeah.
So
And
they-
that's a positive. And I don't know that you can put a number on that, but for a small business like me and having a marketing opportunity available to me where my name is getting out there, that I don't necessarily have, because you know what marketing is when you're in a small business. You're just kind of throwing stuff at a wall, so all you need is name recognition. Driving people into businesses that people weren't aware was there through the treasure hunt. I don't know how you put a money dollar value on that. I will point out that in fiscal year 18, we took in for our local sales tax collection was 6.7 certain million dollars, which means we collected $13.5 million because half goes to schools and half
Right.
comes to us. So this is 0.5% of an investment, reinvestment back into our local economy to draw people to Farragut. And it must be having some kind of impact because you've got 30, I mean, you're usually limited to 30, so apparently you squeezed another one in there for Light the Park.
I'm thinking that some might have to go into the grass in the park.
Yeah. So I
And I'm not
understand your-
questioning the validity.
Yeah.
I think we have an
like the
obligation.
numbers.
Well,
I
or
could give
just-
you a path, I guess.
Well, what I was thinking is if you could just, I'm happy with just small business owners telling us the increase in volume of folks coming through the door. I'm assuming if they're coming through the door, most likely they're going to buy something. And so I've heard y'all anecdotally talk about, well, there's more
Yeah.
people coming in.
Yeah.
It's $70,000.
Yeah.
And so I think I have every right to ask for some kind of specific dollar amount that we're getting back from this. And I'm not questioning it. I mean, and y'all throw on a great party because I have a great time when I go. So I'm not questioning it. But I think that I have every right to say, what is the return on investment of this? Now, if it's simply business owners saying, hey, during this event, I had 25 extra folks come in on a Friday and my Friday volume is only, 10. So I had 30 come in. That's concrete, and that's something that I can live with. But I don't live with anecdotal comments. So I'm looking for some kind of return on investment. I'm happy to use increased patrons during an event. That's perfectly fine, and I'm happy to be a part of asking those questions if I need to. Just tell me who to ask, and I'll ask them myself.
That'd be the path I would take if I was
Okay.
you, because Steve can give you the repeat vendors.
Yeah, that means
And
fine.
that come in, and you can ask them, okay, you've been here 3 years, 4 years, ever how many years you've been coming to this and been a vendor. What did you get when you start? What have you got now? The reason you're coming back, I mean, why are you coming back? Are you seeing an
That would
increase?
be. I'm happy to do my own homework.
Well, and
So
the
that's
town
awesome.
sampler is another place to go because they wouldn't be giving coupons if it wasn't of value to them in drawing people into their business. So anyone who's participating in the town sampler would certainly be a resource as well.
And you have up to October 31st to put your name in for $580 worth of items.
Okay.
So,
Hey, I'll take you up on that.
this month.
Okay.
But
So-
I'm going to reiterate, because I understand you really can't put a dollar sign to this. The idea of someone coming in that doesn't have, they're a small business owner, and they're starting out, and they don't really know what they're doing, to know that they have the support of the town through their build-out, and they have actual support from a Farragut Business Alliance and places where they know they can go and get exposure. I'm not sure you can put a dollar sign on that, and I get what you want to see, that return on investment. We have struggled with being known as a difficult place to do business, and this to me is a solid way to get rid of that idea. No, they've got the Shop Farragut program, and it is amazing because it sent all these people to the Challenge Sampler or the Treasure Hunt. So to me, there's a support there that I don't necessarily think you can get a dollar sign for, but brings incredible value to changing the language when people are talking about coming to Farragut and setting up a business in
And
Farragut.
Louise, even on the flip side, if you think, what if you did the opposite and you doubled it? Could you keep around DW Designs? Because you brought new traffic into that area.
Yeah.
Could you do more events at more of these places that struggle, openly with signage, having more street visibility?
Yeah.
Those are things I think.
Well, and I appreciate what you're saying, Drew, because data isn't necessarily,
Bad.
I'm not gathering it to say we shouldn't do this. I would like to know for sure that we have some kind of measure. There needs to be some measure, whether it's increased foot traffic or whatever. I don't really care what it is. But if we find that there is a substantial increase, maybe we should expand it. I'm not against that. But right now, I hear anecdotal that people appreciate it. Well, okay, I get that, but that doesn't mean anything to me unless I have something a little bit more concrete, like numbers. And so
I
I'm
try
happy
to
to
grab
work
the
with you,
numbers
Steve.
that I can.
Okay.
And I grab the numbers in my reports back to the town on
Okay.
number of people attending, number of vendors.
Okay.
Several of our events are really lost losers. I lose several thousands of dollars, but it's in advertising. It's pushing and branding Shop Farragut as a destination. And a lot of the dollars that I do have, you'll see in advertising or discounts for advertising for the area businesses. For example, part of the Shop Farragut for the holidays program includes a tab that will go into the December 10th or 12th edition of the Farragut Press. And it's a 16-page letters to Santa coloring book with discounted ads. I basically underwrite that so that the local businesses don't have to pay full price for a full color ad. And those are things that help those small businesses. And I don't know how you calculate the return, the ROI on something like that. So,
Well, why don't we cut a deal? You give me 10 names of merchants that you would be able to give to me that I could call and talk to. That would tell me some kind of statistical increase in foot volume of patrons because of these events, and I'll do my own research.
What I would really love to
fine.
see is once we get everything all set up, my ultimate goal is I would like to see increase attracting businesses, and I would love to hear, I came here because you offered this and you offered that and you offered this, and that was support to me. To me, that will be a sign of success. But that's a long term. It's taking a long time to get all of these things put together so that we can start hitting some of those local businesses that are out there, Lenore City. Hey, you need to come here. You need to be in Farragut.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to when we get all of that put together so that we can go out and start, because small businesses need relationships. They're looking for that personal ask, and well, that's where my heart is. So I'll be out there asking.
One thing I would add to your conversation is that if there was no FBA, then a lot of these special events that they do would go away. And so if you wanted them to continue, that means we would have to do them, and we don't have the staff to do those. So we have to hire somebody anyway to do that and then have more expenses on top of that. So it's one of those things that, yes, we can get some ROI information or some anecdotal information. I know Steve can give those to us, but there is other things that would be asked maybe of staff to possibly do if we didn't have the FBA.
Well, thank you.
I think some of the ROI would be the fact that these small businesses are contributing the sales tax, that instead of struggling, like what Louise said, they're a solid contributor. And that right there is what keeps our empty stores full. And so I think that's one of our biggest goals right there, is as far as our ROI, is to keep our stores full. So.
I've been around this the FBA for 6 years now as a board member, and I greatly appreciate, Steve, what you do and what you have been doing, what you're trying to do. So thank you very, very much. I think the town appreciates these events and wish you success going forward with more.
Thank you. 40th anniversary coming up.
Yeah.
We can talk about that, don't we?
Hey, any more discussion? I have a motion with a second. Now, I will now ask for a roll call vote.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Yes.
Alderman Povlin.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Thank you. Let the record show the memorandum of understanding has been approved. Okay, next will be some ordinances. We have two ordinances to consider tonight, with both being on the first reading. Ordinance 19-27 is an ordinance on the first reading amending the capital investment program and State Street Aid Fund budget of fiscal year 2019-2020, budget that was passed by ordinance 19-22.
Yes, sir. The capital investment program will be amended by increasing the expenditures by $65,000. And in that amount, there's $15,000 for Watt Road, $20,000 for the CMAC project, and $30,000 for the Anchor Park. And the $65,000 in expenditures will be pulled from the CIP fund balance. Excuse me. So that balance will now be $877,419. For the state street aid, this is we're taking $637,000, and we're taking from last fiscal year and moving it to this fiscal year. There are funds that were not spent last fiscal year, but the way the paving contract goes, we're doing it. They just finished it, so we're paying for it in this fiscal year. So that amount was $637,859, and the motion is to approve ordinance 19-27 on first reading.
Move to approve ordinance 1927 on first reading.
Second.
Discussion?
Okay, so I know CMAC is 100% funded, so this is coming out of our CIP program, but we have an income somewhere, revenue
Yes.
coming in for just CMAC?
Yes, for just CMAC. The $15,000 is for the Watt Road Kingston Pipe project. When the construction cost went up on that, we had to put in additional monies, the matching monies to TDOT, and so that's where that $15,000 is from. And you all approved that, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And then the $30,000 is for the Anchor Park professional services agreement that we just approved, with an additional $5,000 for equipment and benches and things like that. So those three amounts will come out of the fund balance. But we will have a revenue on the flip side for that $20,000 from CMAC.
Okay, I'm just going to say I always get nervous when our CIP fund balance drops below $1 million. It just makes me nervous, so consider me nervous.
Nothing new.
I'm nervous too. So now you have two of us.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled that we're dropping below $1 million. The flip side is we get 20,000 offsetting, right? You said from CMAC, so it's really the net amount's 45,000 hit. Okay.
Yes.
Well, with construction cost that we're seeing now, as far as you budget a certain amount, and then whenever the quotes come in, you're quite a bit over. It's the nature of our economy right now, and I think, unfortunately, there's no way nervousness can fix that.
Or we could cut
control it,
projects
so.
back, but that's okay. Not these.
Yes.
This is already, you said the waving, or the paving's done, right? So we just have to, it's finished, so.
Yeah,
okay.
the state street aid, we're not using any additional monies from the fund balance. We're just pulling the balance of, like we budgeted, I think it was 1.2 last fiscal year, but we only spent like 600. So we're
Okay.
going to take that balance and roll it forward.
Okay.
Because the way we do our budgeting, we have to show those expenditures in our budget to be able to spend them, even though it was budgeted the previous fiscal year.
Okay.
So that one's a wash.
Annually. Yeah, that happens every year.
And it's not always the same.
Yeah.
Varies.
Okay.
Okay, looks like anybody else with discussion? Okay, nothing. Okay, have a motion with a second. Now I'll ask again for a roll call vote.
Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Yes.
Alderman Povlin.
Yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, thank you. Let the record show that ordinance 19-27 has been approved on first reading. Next will be ordinance 19-28, an ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the Farragut Municipal Code to permit sale and distribution of alcohol beverages in the town-owned rental properties.
Thank you, members of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. I'm here to just present to you ordinance 19-28. By way of summary, the purpose of this ordinance is to first create a new permit that we will use to authorize renters of our rental units within Town Hall, the Campbell Station Inn, and the Community Center to sell or serve alcohol. Additionally, we are changing some language to give the town administrator or his designee the authority to administer that permit through the rental process that the Parks and Recreation Department will have. Lastly, all renters, everyone who applies for this type of permit are going to have to hire a certified, licensed caterer to serve or sell the alcohol. Combined with the regulatory strategy of our rental process and that requirement for a licensed caterer, we will be able to comply both with the state's licensing requirements and the regulatory intent of the Beer Board.
With a licensed server.
Yes. Each caterer will have a caterer permit from the state, and then basically every employee with the caterer will have a server permit. So that way, everyone who's directly involved with either selling or giving out, serving of any kind, they're going to have to be licensed by the state.
Okay.
I'll move to approve ordinance 1928 on first reading.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion?
What's the thoughts on having it here at the town hall? The center.
If, for example, the town wanted to have an event here, or if there was going to be any event of any kind, just to serve alcohol, not even to sell it commercially, we would basically need to have a permit, because right now that wouldn't be permitted.
No, we don't have any licensed servers. My license expired.
20 years ago.
Well, that
It
is to
makes
say
sense
if we wanted to allow someone to rent the community room for an event, or if we wanted to host something, we would have the authority to do so, because currently it wouldn't be permitted in the building. Yeah.
The most often time we're getting asked is for a museum function or an anniversary of the town Farragut function, or something that we wanted to have here as opposed to the community center, but especially the museum.
Okay, anything else discussion-wise? None? Okay, have a
I
motion?
have one discussion.
Okay.
Is that centralized to inside the building only, or does that extend outside the building?
I'll answer that.
Okay.
The language in the ordinance specifies that basically the Parks and Recreation Department will designate a rental area. And so only within that designated rental area will anyone be able to serve or distribute or sell alcoholic beverages.
And that rental area would be inside or outside?
Yes,
On the grounds.
On the grounds.
on the grounds of whatever property we're talking about. So we would be able to control where alcohol can be in these three properties.
I would see any kind of events with alcohol at Town Hall to be extremely limited. I think most of those are going to happen across the street of the community center and at the Campbell Station Inn. I would think it would be really for the things that Sue just mentioned, those rare one-off type of events that we may have here in the building. And certainly if we want to limit that to just the museum or just the rotunda or just the community room, whatever it is, and we're probably going to be in charge of that event, so we can cordon that off and make sure it's limited as possible.
So
Do you have a concern with it being outside? I mean, what's your concern here?
No, I don't have any direct concern.
It's just strange.
Yeah.
You might have alcohol in your
In my seat here.
meeting.
our meetings.
Many a night when I wish I did.
That's fair. I may check your water bottle later. But, no, I do think of bigger places like parks and stuff. Like, once you start going a direction, people think it's going everywhere, and that's just why I was curious.
Well, yeah, I know when we do them outside, of course, like when Steve does them, they have to be in a specific cordoned off area. So I would assume the same thing would be considered when we do it here.
So just to confirm, this would be a designated area, could be inside one of the parks also.
So, Alderman, that is not what this ordinance says. I think I tried to mention this before, but we're going to bring that back to the board to look at the parks specifically. We wanted to take that back to the Parks and Athletics Council to kind of vet that a little bit with them, and then we'll bring some recommendations and ordinance back for the board to consider.
So my only thought would be just in the background paragraph, it talks about including rental spaces at Town Hall and the town parks. If this is not going to address the parks, then I would just take it out completely and just leave this, because I think it's okay to say.
The ordinance somewhere. I'm sorry.
This was Trevor's. Sorry,
But is it in
it's
the
not here. My
ordinance?
bad. I'm sorry.
That was in the broader
scope, sorry.
background
That's
of the
very much. Okay.
impetus of.
I was reading this in the car coming back. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're good. It's okay. We're good. No wonder I couldn't find it in the ordinance. I was like, I know I read that somewhere. Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Are we still thinking, or are we through with
I'm
discussion?
good.
Okay, a motion with a second, and again, I will ask for a roll call vote.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Yes.
Alderman Burnett. Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, thank you. Let the record show that the amendment was approved. First reading. Next will be the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a big event tomorrow night with Freaky Friday from 5 to 7 at Mayor Bob Leonard Park. Hopefully the weather holds off for us. It's not looking great right now, but yeah, hopefully it's going to be a great event, and we're really looking forward to seeing a lot of great costumes out there tomorrow night. I'm sure all of you will dress up.
I've got mine.
All right, perfect.
Hold my breath.
I am. Can't wait.
Our last Intro to Farragut class is next Wednesday night, and that is going to be on education. So we've got that starting at 6 o'clock, and I know Vice Mayor Pavlin is going to be speaking a little bit, and we'll have the high school principal, the middle school principal coming as well as a couple of students too. So we're looking forward to educating our Intro to Farragut class on everything education here in the town. Our Veterans Day 5K, 10K run that Fleet Feet's putting on, it's a new event for the town, is going on November the 9th at 7:30 that morning. It's going to kick off right outside the community center at the Lutheran Church, and it has different routes based on the 5K and 10K, and I think it's going to end in Founders Park and have a great memorial, kind of a memorial setting there for the Veterans Day parade or 5K. So looking forward to that as a new event. And finally, I'd just like to thank the board for allowing me and Trevor to go to the ICMA conference the last few days. We learned a lot, and were able to talk to colleagues and understand what some of their issues are in their communities and really all over the country and world for that matter. It's a great event and a great conference every year, and we appreciate you guys letting us go. So thank you very much.
We do have Intro to Farragut graduation as well coming up.
Right, yes, ma'am. The
Wednesday.
following Wednesday after that at Foxton, correct.
Okay, and our town attorney is absent tonight, so we'll not have that to consider. Do we have anyone signed up for citizens forum? No one. Okay, wow. Well, if there's none other, if there's none, then time's approximately 10 till 8, and without objection, October 24th, Board Mayor and Alderman meeting is now adjourned.